Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Women Have Needs Too. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to flourish. Today, we're with Tanisha Castellanos with Castellanos Coaching and Consulting, and she specializes in coaching and consulting small and large businesses. And I cannot wait to dive into this topic today, Tanisha. Right now, I need to flourish. The thing is that we go through periods in our lives where we feel like we're flourishing on a daily basis. And then we get into a little slump and whatever's happening in our lives, and we forget our accomplishments. We forget what we are capable of. We forget that we have no limits, right? We
Right.
forget that we have no limits. And I can't wait to talk with you today about this topic of flourishing, because we all have the ability to flourish.
Absolutely. No, I like what you said. I think especially with any kind of entrepreneurship, for my entrepreneurs that are tuning in for, like you said, I work with small and big businesses, successful professionals who are either been doing this for a while, and I've worked with businesses doing this 5, 10 plus years. Statistics show if you can have a small business that lasts past the 5 year mark, the chances of it growing and succeeding are much higher than not. And a lot of them don't get to that mark because, like you said, they experience the highs, the lows,
Right.
and no one has, we're all there for the highs. Everyone is there like, ooh, support when you start a business. That support really isn't there in the everyday, mundane, day to day. I'm looking at invoices. I'm trying to get clients. How do I keep my business going? That
Wearing
support is not
every
like it was.
hat, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's so true. I mean, we have to learn how to balance the great days, the not so great days, the awful days. And, that's what I help in my coaching consulting business. We really work the courses that I have really help to look at a lot of businesses, their business, where they're at, where they want to be, right? And how to get there. And along with that, it's also, you can't do all that without looking at yourself, right? And part of self-development of, I was working with a client this week who is so talented. This woman she can do everything. She can preach, she can write, she can sing, there's not anything she can't do. But I said, the real question is, I can look at your whole business. I can look at your logo. I can look at your mission statement. Let's look at your social media. But the real question is, why aren't you, if a lot of this you've explored, what has prevented you from being at that place you want to
There's
be?
a mindset,
That's the real question. Right.
self-talk, it's something that happened in our childhood.
Absolutely. We feel stuck, right? And sharing a little bit with this woman had suffered between 2020 and 2021 very significant losses,
Oh,
death of
yeah.
people she loved, people who mentored her, family members. Back to back, from COVID to natural. Tragic. And I said, well, no wonder, like, you haven't even given yourself or been allotted the time to really grieve that.
To mourn. Yeah, that's hard.
So we got to look at those things all they're all connected. Not one thing is separate. My mental health is in shambles, but wow, everything else around me is flourishing. They're going to interconnect and affect each other at some point.
Well, let me ask you this. In your consulting as a business, a coach and consultant, is that an area that you can help her with? You know,
Right. One of the
maybe compartmentalizing.
Absolutely. Well, one of the advantages I have is having I'm a LMSW, I'm LCSW, licensed clinical social worker. And one of the benefits, I'm that first. I've been that for 15 plus years with clinical experience. Um, and a psychotherapist. I have my own, private practice of therapy called TC Therapy LLC. And I've been working with clients in therapeutic settings as a therapist for 15 plus years, right, Linda? So I've seen it all. I've worked in every kind of setting, from crisis to now private therapy, but I've worked everywhere, from the schools to out in the community with crisis work, one-on-one, group setting, couples, families. So I branched out and started my coaching consulting business because I saw working with people needs that were different than therapeutic needs. So one of the advantage I have in my coaching and consulting business is that I have the background of a psychotherapist.
I
So
was
I
going
can,
to say I mean, what an advantage, because you can help with
yeah,
every aspect of their life, and, the business itself. So
right.
you can block those, you can tear down those walls for them, help them tear down those walls.
Absolutely. I mean, it works because coaching is different than therapy. I don't want to confuse the two. They both
Right.
serve a great purpose.
Mhm.
However, with the background I have, I'm able to look at the mindset, the psychodynamic component, right, of the barrier they might be facing, of the I can't get over this hump. I can't get over this, right? So that's one of the things I love to do. My clients really, and they know they have an advantage of, oh my gosh, not only am I getting like this coaching, perspective of this and working on certain things like imposter syndrome, scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset, you know, um, time management. What does that look like? Self-care. Why the heck is that important? All those things, right? But also the component of, the mental health aspect of that, and like what psychodynamic component might be going on that's keeping them getting from the goals and where they want to be.
I love it. So we're talking about flourishing today. And so everybody comes to you at a different time, of flourishing. They may have flourished at one time, but now they're trying to get it back. Or maybe they're just a brand new person that says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I need help.
Right.
So let's talk about the basics of flourishing. How do you go about that? What are your basic steps for that?
I love that word, flourishing. When you say that, I'm just thinking of a plant. I just bought a
Me
money
too.
plant.
Blooming.
Yes, I thought of a money plant that I bought my mother, and I was like, here, you love plants, take care of my plant. And it's flourishing so beautifully. I just love the way they look. I didn't even know it was a money plant. She's like, oh, I always wanted
I don't
one of
even
these.
know. I don't think I've ever seen a money plant. You
You
can
got to
send me
see them, the
one.
way
Does it
they
have money
grow.
on it?
That's what it's supposed to signify. That's what's supposed to symbolize, is it's good luck for that.
Oh, neat.
And but as I see it, every time I see it, it's flourishing. It's growing, it's healthy, the greenery, the new vines on it. So I love you saying that word. So, when we talk about flourishing and people, right, like you said, they might feel stuck. They might have been flourishing at one point and not. I want to first say that that's normal.
Mhm.
Nobody is in a continuous flourishing state forever and ever, right?
Amen.
That it's just, that's not reality. Okay.
No.
Now, I'm not saying, hear me out. I'm not saying that you can't have long moments of that. And
Mhm.
I do believe, I'm also, my own personal belief of being faith-based and in a Christian mindset is, I do believe we are supposed to have better days than worse days. Okay. The good is supposed to outweigh the bad.
Yes.
However, life is not, I wish it was, but it's not made up of, rainbows and cotton candy and leprechauns and gold coins at the end of every day. There's
Right.
something in today's society that I'd like to mention, that's like this toxic positivity mindset, where people, it's like they want to be so positive that they completely ignore or just want to deny the bad things that happen.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, the pendulum shouldn't be so extreme, right? It's like either all positive or all negative. No, it's supposed to be in the middle of balance. So
Yeah.
life, if you live it long enough, as we both know, is going to give you some awesome moments and going to give you some really crappy, awful, horrific ones too,
That's right.
right? So no one is in a 24 perpetual state of flourishing. I don't care how beautiful, how much money, how awesome your kids, your husband, the ocean view you have. It's just not reality. So the
It's such a
question
good
becomes,
point. It's such a good point.
right,
because, what you see on social media is all the good stuff, right? For the most part,
Exactly.
nobody's showing you. And it's so funny. I'm saying this, but meanwhile, I just saw somebody post something. I have COVID, that she's posted a picture of herself. I'm like, but most people don't do that. They show you the pretty,
Right. I
I'm
like
out
to
on
say
a
it's the
boat.
highlight.
I'm traveling. I'm doing this. I'm, the fun and exciting part of their life where they're not showing you the heartache and the heartbreak and, the heart wrenching.
Right. They're not showing you the bankruptcies they've had to apply for. They're not showing you the domestic violence they might be going through or the abuse, and I'm not making light of that, but
And
those
not
are
that we
realities.
should be, but we have to remember that just because we're not seeing it doesn't mean that it's not happening.
That it doesn't exist. Exactly. And I like to tell people, I mean, Linda, truth be told, social media can have some people just straight up suicidal or
Yeah.
feeling like complete failures, honestly, because they think, my God, like I'm nowhere near, right, where my classmates my age or people my age are, or,
Right.
people that I know and that I love, like I'm nowhere near that, right? I'm not a homeowner yet. I haven't moved across the country yet. I haven't hit my $1 million yet. My kids aren't going to Harvard. I have failed as a mother, as a father. This
Yeah.
is the thing. I love social media. Social media pays me. I get a lot of clients from social media. You have to know how to use your platforms correctly. We met through social media. That's a
Yes.
plus, right? So we're the product of that being positive. However, I'd like to tell my clients, listen, nobody is showing you the low reels. They're showing you the highlights of their life, also through very filtered angles. Right. And I say it for myself. If somebody takes a picture of me, Linda, right, or let's say with this video, with this interview that we're doing,
Right.
and I get to post the cover of it, I'm going to pick the angle that I look best in.
Exactly.
That's just the natural thing I'm going to do, right? It's not like I'm fake or phony. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, people,
Yeah.
let's let up a little bit. Let's be honest. As women, let's really talk about it. You're going to put the picture that looks best, right? That's flattering to you. So that's what we do on social media. That filter looks good. Get my good angle, and we put that on there, right? Makes us feel good. We have all our friends and family. Like a lot of people, you look awesome, you look amazing, blah, 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 right? So it kind of gives us that ego boost. But
Yes.
remember, think about what you do to make yourself look good on social media. And that's for anyone tuning in, which isn't a bad thing. That's what everyone else is doing.
Right.
They're not seeing the low
And,
lights or the things that you're struggling with.
and it's not only with our physical appearance, but our words. What are we putting out there? What words are we putting out there? Those are the things that people see as well. Are you putting a positive? Are you putting a negative out there? There's a lot of stuff that goes on social media,
Oh
and
yeah.
you have to weigh, anyway, it's yeah, you have to
No,
watch your words and your
absolutely.
self-talk and what you're putting out there all the time.
Absolutely. No, I mean, you know, social media is social media. We had the blackout this week. I don't know if you
Monday.
experienced that. It was Monday, right? Oh my gosh, it seems like forever ago. And it's very interesting. I know, I mean, me being a therapist, and I do what's called intuitive living. That's something I show too, of just trying to be really in tune with what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And I was like, man, how did I feel about that blackout? I thought it was just my Wi-Fi. It was a rainy day here in New York. I was like, oh, my Wi-Fi sucks. I need a new carrier, you know.
Oh, that's
Um,
funny.
but it also made me think, Linda, truth be told, man, Tanish, you spend a lot of time. You're constantly on Facebook. You're constantly checking, refreshing, scrolling your Instagram. And it just made me think of, I put a lot of time into that. And is
We
it too
do.
much time?
We do.
So I think it's just balance. I think it's just when we look at those things, it's learning, if I do feel that way, right? Like I know for me, I did, then okay, what can I do to maybe, not that being on there is a bad thing, but maybe not be on there as much, where I didn't realize, wow, throughout the whole day, I'm always looking at that stuff.
Right. So I started putting it in my calendar when to check those things.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. had heard, I listened to, you come across so many things, but I worked with a client that was a real balance issue for her. She had young children. She was running businesses, beautiful, prominent, flourishing woman, right? Married, but a conflict she had was her husband and even her kids at some point were feeling like she was always on the phone, right? So she was like, Tanisha, like, but I gotta be on my phone, right? I gotta know my notifications and emails. So we came up with a plan that at a certain time at night, she would leave her phone charging in a certain room. I think it was like the living room we picked for her, where she at like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, she left it there and she just, went to bed, put the children to sleep, cleaned the kitchen counters, whatever it was, that was like her nighttime routine.
Right.
And she said, that really signified for me just a shutting down,
You
you
have
know,
to.
because we're really not programmed, Linda, to be on all the time. We're not the internet. You and I
No.
are not Google.
And
And
your
that's,
family, and it's about being present too. Whoever you're with,
yes,
know that you're with that person, whether it's your child, your spouse, partner, whoever it is. Are you present? And if
right.
the phone is here and the person is in front of you, guess what? That phone is coming between you, literally. It's coming between.
You're just, I mean, it's the reality. I know I've been guilty of it. I know I've been called out on it, like especially by my family, and not excessively, but like my mom will say to me, my sisters, if we're having a family dinner, can we put the phones down? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
good for
can we just
her.
like eat and enjoy? And we do. And I've
Yeah.
learned how to be intentional and purposely doing that, not just by happenstance. Oh, my phone died. Let me put it aside. Like, no, it can wait. And even studies
It
have
comes
shown
back to the balance, it
exactly.
comes back to the balance.
Well, even studies have shown, Linda, that this blue LED lighting, in our phones, in our computer, they I'm somebody that I'm very sensitive to light. I suffer with migraines, especially once a month, just keeping it real. Like they get really bad to the point where
Yeah.
I have to like do the black curtains in my bedroom and just
Wow.
I can do nothing but sleep it off because it makes me nauseous,
Mhm.
everything awful. Well, my doctor was like, how much time are you on electronics? From the moment I wake up, right? So she's like, okay, we need to limit that blue lighting, LED lighting, because what it does, it signifies to the brain, and this is why studies suggest at least 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed, putting your phone away, resting your eyes, because that LED lighting signifies to the brain that you're still up and it triggers migraines. That you're
Oh,
still
wow.
looking at a screen. So it's suggested that even when everyone charges their phone, hopefully at night, right? A lot of people keep it beside them, but studies show if you have it away from you on, your vanity,
Yeah.
your dresser drawer, whatever it is, it helps let the brain signify I'm off. And to let your brain rest, turning off all electronics, TV.
Mhm.
Best way to sleep anyway is really in a dark room, cool room, no lighting if you can, and
That's
getting
how
that
I
deep
sleep,
REM
and I
sleep.
love it.
Me too, me too. And I love my sleep. I need my sleep for rejuvenation. So,
Me
but
too.
these LED lights, they studies have shown it's good. We need to be turning them away from us and letting them
Yes.
go for a little bit.
Yes, I agree. So we've got to wrap up. So one good tip for flourishing in your life.
Wow, only one? Okay.
Well, you can give more than one. We just have to do it quickly.
I know. There's so much. Oh, wow. Okay. I would say, Linda, honestly, being authentically you.
Mm,
I think I spent a lot of years, and I think a lot of us do, right? There's so much, again, social media influences. I want to build my business like her. I need to talk like her. I need to have a talk show like her. I need
yeah.
that background. I need that lighting. The thing is, there are a lot of great examples and there's a lot of good tips, and everyone kind of copies from everyone. Let's be for real. We
It's
do,
okay. It's
because that's how we
uh,
learn.
copycatting is a form of flattery.
Right. But you have to really embrace who you are.
That's right.
And a key to being happy, but also honestly, a key to being successful is nobody can ever be, Tanisha
You.
Castellanos.
No,
Right.
that's
Nobody could
right.
ever be Linda Bruns. Like They cannot be us because we come with our own trauma. We come with our own victories. We come
If
with our
they
own
only
character and
knew,
history.
if they only knew.
Right. So really embracing yourself, your
Yes.
positives, your negatives, and making that work for you. And that's something I also teach my
And still
clients.
loving yourself through the negatives and the positives.
Yes.
Love yourself,
Embracing
whatever
who
it
you
is.
are. You know, I'm on this health journey. I've lost 45 plus some pounds
Woo!
from
Congratulations.
last January, right? Probably more. We'll see this week when I weigh in. But all of that to say, that's just who I am. I look at old videos and I'm like, wow, I look different. But I embraced her too. And
That's
now
great.
I'm changing and I embraced who I am now
I
too.
love it.
They were both wonderful. They were
Yes,
both me.
that's
But
right.
I
Good
just
for
had to
you.
make decisions,
Good for
right,
you.
that were healthier for me. So I
Yeah,
think really being authentic and embracing who you are is a good tip.
I love it. Well, thank you, Tanisha, for joining us today. How can people reach you?
Thank you so much, Linda. You can reach me I'm on every social media platform. You can reach me on Facebook, Tanisha Castellanos. You can reach me on Instagram. I'm Tanisha C. Twitter, I'm Tanisha C. LinkedIn, Tanisha Castellanos. My name is my name. No, I don't have a middle one because it's a mouthful with the first and last name. So you can, or tanisha.castellanos@gmail.com.
Wonderful.
Shoot me a message, reach out to me, hit me in the DMs, messages, email
Very
me,
good.
and I would love to connect with you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to flourish. Stay inspired and stay empowered. Have a great day.